Hey now, what is up, everybody? Welcome to Wednesday's workout. As always, thank you for watching. We genuinely appreciate everyone who's taking the time to watch all these videos. We're putting out so much content, so big props to everybody who is following along. So let's close out Tuesdays first. Tuesday's workout is very posterior chain dominant. So if you did Tuesday's workout, there's a very good chance that your lower back, your hips, your glutes, etc., your backside, the posterior chain is more than likely fatigued, and that is by design. Now, again, on Tuesday we did some quad dominant stuff as well. We did some of the Cossack squats, and we did some other squatting. We did some lunges, but for the most part, again, it's a posterior chain dominant day. Now, when we start looking towards Wednesday, someone might look at the workout and see, holy crap, so many thrusters, it's more squatting. We did so much lower body yesterday, and now we're going to do more again today. And yeah, that is the intention. That is by design. Now, if we really take a careful look at the nature of both workouts, they're very different. And yes, Tuesdays did isolate and focus on the lower body. However, it's a posterior chain dominant workout once again. And if you look at Wednesdays, yes, it is still focusing on the lower half of the body. However, it is way more quad dominant. So that is the overall focus. For those of you folks who need to spend a little bit of extra time warming up, like I would, you guys have to make sure that you do that. So let's dissect this warm up a little bit more. We touched on some of these topics last week when we were talking about proper activation of the spine and all the different muscle groups that surround the spine and how to do a good job at making sure that our body is responsive and ready for the high intensity exercise that we're going to put ourselves through. And that same stuff we talked about is the same things you guys have to do today. Once again, we're not looking for you guys to stretch your tissue like crazy. We're not looking for 20, 30 minutes of stretching prior to these workouts. We want your tissue to be responsive so it protects the joints, it protects the ligaments, and for this case, it protects the spine. So we have a lot of that going through the warm-up. We're doing some Samson stretching. We're doing Spider-Man lunges. We're doing some activation work with the wall angels of the upper body, scap push-ups, etc., etc. And what we're going to close out our warm-up with is only a total of 6 Turkish get-ups per side. So if you got a kettlebell at home, you're in luck. The Turkish get-up, that's kind of, we normally utilize kettlebells for Turkish get-ups, but if you don't, you only have a dumbbell, or you got something like a cement block, or, we talk often about like a heavy bag or whatever it is, any object will suffice, right? So I've got my trusty 8-pound dumbbell here, and if this is all I had, I could definitely do Turkish get-ups with this. If I didn't have that, and I had something like a bag this size, right? You could definitely do the same thing. You don't have to use a kettlebell. You don't have to use a dumbbell to do an exercise like a Turkish get-up. And the reason why we're only doing 6 quality reps is exactly that. We want to focus on moving pristine, moving slow, and think about activating all of the tissue that we are using to perform the exercise of the Turkish get-up. The Turkish get-up is a more technical exercise, and there's a lot of content on YouTube. Our boys are going to put something out in the video today, giving a couple coaching cues, but my overarching coaching cue in regards to the Turkish get-up is, again, moving slow and moving with intention. If you're new to the Turkish get-up, there's a lot of steps and it can be pretty damn confusing. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with writing a couple notes for yourself, putting it right next to you so you can focus and read what you're doing and slow down the exercise. There's a tremendous amount of value in doing the Turkish get-up, and I want you guys to do it right. So don't focus on loading, don't focus on speed, don't do it too fast. If doing 6 Turkish get-ups per side takes you 30 minutes, that's fine. Let it take you 30 minutes. I'd rather you move through it slowly and potentially even decrease reps than think about moving through the warm-up or the skill piece too fast. All right, let's move on to our workout. So we got a lot of running and we got a lot of thrusters. the way that I would do this workout, I would measure out 400-meter repeats. So I would go to a 200-meter mark and back. For me, that works really well in a workout like this. When I can hit my target, turn around, and come back, I can move at a much more comfortable pace than if I'm running all the way out and doing a mile loop or doing an 800 loop or something like that. Being able to go somewhere and come back helps keep me a lot more engaged rather than a longer run when I can't really quite see where the end is. Now, for those of you guys who are super competitive, that's going to be slower. I'm not, right? So for me, it's okay to move slower through something like a run. Helps me be a little bit more efficient and focus. And once again, like I've told you guys, in these long pieces like we have on Wednesday, those are the pieces that, I'll be honest, that I tend to screw up. I get lost and my intensity level drops tremendously. So first of all, that's how I would hack my run, okay? Is I would set up 200 and back. And if I'm doing the 800-meter run, if I'm doing the mile, if I'm doing the 400, if I'm doing the 200, I can check that box very easily by going to the 200 and back each time, if that makes sense. All right, now, moving on to thrusters, the inspiration behind this workout when I was programming it was one of my favorite CrossFit benchmarks, which is Jackie. The CrossFit benchmark workout Jackie has 50 unloaded barbell thrusters in it. So if you notice, if you look at the workout, it just says 45 in parentheses. And the idea behind that, it's done with an empty barbell, right? It's meant to be done light. It's meant to be done fast. And for people who really want to push the threshold hard and have a gnarly gut check, the intention behind each set of the barbell thrusters is to do them unbroken. Sometimes that's not something I would recommend to most of you. We talk a lot about pacing your workouts and visualizing your intention and reverse engineering it and making sure that your rest periods are done purposefully. And all of that still stands true. However, there's a time where we have to sack up and we have to get ready for a gut check and go hard. And this is that workout. So if doing 30, 20, 10 unbroken empty bar thrusters is something that sounds challenging for you, try to do it anyways. If there is absolutely no chance in hell that you can do those unbroken or in big sets, you have a few options. Number one, consider scaling down the weight. You don't have to use a barbell. I'd prefer that you use a PVC pipe or something lighter than a 45-pound standard men's bar, as long as you can move fast, right? So if you're watching this video and all you have at home is a 45-pound bar or maybe some 10-pound dumbbells, and if you do the 45-pound bar, you're going to break it up into 3, 4, 5 sets, don't use the bar. The intensity factor is what we're looking behind. It's what we're looking for behind programming the thrusters in that way. We realize that for most people, the mile is going to set the precedent for the workout, so it's going to be an overall slower paced workout. So when you get to the barbell thrusters is your time to be intense, time to be honestly a little bit reckless, and you can push hard on it. And when you come back to your run, yes, you're going to pay the price for it. However, those first 2 runs are in longer order than most of you are used to. And you'll be able to recover your first few seconds into that run and then pick up your pace. That's the overall intention behind the workout. As always, please keep posting your times, post on the group, post on the leaderboard. I appreciate all the love and support. See you soon. Peace.